Hey everybody, so I'm finally getting to do that Q&A that I asked questions for like about a month ago or so, actually maybe even more than that. Sorry for the delay, but I really want to handle these Q&A questions very specifically and sort of handle them, not kind of rush through them. So even though today is going to be a little bit more of a shorter video for these, I'm going to space these out just a little bit. And some of the ones that sort of I really want to go and like showcase stuff, because some of you are asking like really specific questions about stuff in my collection and everything, and we'll be able to show that, not just talk about it but also show it. So I want to do that correctly. So today I'm actually just going to answer just a couple quick ones real quick that I can answer without having to shoot b-roll basically, just because I'm a little bit of a time crunch today before I get to some of the other ones. So the most likely they'll probably end up being maybe 3 of these videos. So now let's just jump right into it. So the first question for today is from Bismo Funyuns. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And he says, okay, so first one is, when are we getting the new tour? And second, what started you down the path of wanting to become a filmmaker and collecting like you do? So first up, as far as the tour goes, that is in the works. There was a massive delay in this room, which kind of a long story, but there's stuff in here I need to move, and I can't do it on my own, and some stuff I need to move out of this room. And what I think I'm going to do is basically just move a ton of stuff into storage, just briefly. In fact, actually what I'm probably going to do, just to make it simple, even though it may end up costing me just a couple bucks to rent a small U-Haul truck, like not a big one, just a small one, just kind of load that up, bring it over to storage, put everything in storage, come back over here, get this room kind of ready, and then go back and bring everything back. So probably rent a U-Haul for like 2 days or something. And just my schedule massively changed. Had some family stuff that I desperately needed to take care of, which took up a lot of my time. It's also why videos sort of became kind of slower for a little bit. But I hate saying like, oh, the room tour is coming, because it's like, by this point, it's like, how many months now has it been where I've been like saying that? And it's like, I may just hold off mentioning anything until literally I'm ready to do it, but I really want it done, because now this room is just driving me nuts, because like I hate it because it's a little bit in disarray right now, and it's driving me crazy. So I definitely want to get that done so that I can get to the new tour video. And the second question, as far as what got me into filmmaking and collecting, when I was a kid, I just, for whatever reason, I was really fascinated by like movies and TV shows, just, storytelling in general, but specifically the way they're told in a visual medium. And I just sort of responded to it very, immediately. And even the way I would play with, my toys as a kid, it was like I was, reliving a movie while I was playing with my toys, and my eye became a camera. So it's like, if I had, let's say this knife, is not going to use this in a threatening way, just this is what I used to open packages. But let's say this was like a figure or something. If I was playing with it, and I was doing something, all of a sudden I'd kind of go in real close, as if I was doing a close-up, or pull back, or if I was doing an action of some sort, I'd maybe repeat that action and sort of move my head around and kind of look at it from different angles. I was actually sort of almost filming my toys in my head, and almost like editing on the fly, as it were. And I think it wasn't until as I started getting a little older that I sort of realized filmmaking was the way to go. Because I think when I first started out, I actually wanted to be an actor, because when you're watching movies, you see the actor, you don't see the director, you see the actor. But I always took notice of who the director was in a lot of films, so the name always stuck with me, but it didn't really click. I think maybe I was about 8 or 9, maybe, where it really, really clicked, where I'm like, no, I really want to make movies, I want to be the director. Granted, I wanted to be both. I want to be an actor and a director, kind of thing, but it's but the main thing was definitely directing. So that almost requires its own video, because that's something that, it's a long story, but sort of the short of it. And as far as collecting goes, that actually just seemed to kind of fit in almost at the same time, where you just start wanting things that, kind of give you meaning and stuff. And obviously for me, it was, movies and stuff in a lot of ways, because a lot of the toys I played with were very much movie based. I was Star Wars being the main one, but even other stuff like Transformers and things like that. I was watching the cartoon on TV or something. In essence, that became almost like early collecting, and that just sort of progressed as the years went on. And even poster collecting and everything. I think I was still a young kid where I would go to the video store, and after they were done with their some of their posters, I would always ask them like, "Oh, can I have that poster when you don't want it anymore?" And they're like, "Yeah, but we're just gonna throw it out anyway." So it's like nothing to lose there. So they just give me like these video posters. So when I was a kid, my bedroom was just covered in like video. But God, I wish I still had some of those to this day. But unfortunately, it was one day where I threw them all out. Oh, I didn't want to think about that. That's not a good memory. But yeah, I mean that's just seemed to just be there. So thank you for the question, Bismo. I hope I answered it okay. Next up, from Let's Build a Snowman. Love that. I assume that's from Cannibal the Musical, and if so, kudos to that. What were a few of the first Italian horror films you were introduced to? So that's actually an interesting question because Italian horror has always been one of my favorites, but my introduction to it actually came from kind of a handful of films, and for different reasons. When I was a kid, I'd go to the video store, and some of the video boxes, VHS boxes, would just literally. So when I would go to the video store, I'd go to the new release section to see what just came out, and then I would just make a beeline to the horror section. And some of the stuff I was too young to rent. Parents were like, "I don't know if you're ready to see that yet." But I would stare at the boxes, and of course, some of the boxes that would stick out the most were some of the stuff like Gates of Hell, probably one of the first ones. Zombie was another one. Demons was another. I'm kind of blank. Make Them Die Slowly, aka Cannibal Ferox. That was another one. The couple of films where I would just go and I would just like stare at these boxes, even before I was allowed to rent them. And then I think at some point I was able to see that. I want to say Zombie, actually, out of those, like Zombie and Demons, I think were the first two that I actually saw. And then eventually I saw like Gates of Hell. And Burial Ground, I think, was a little bit later. Make Them Die Slowly was definitely much, much later. I didn't see that one until a few years after. And even like Argento was huge in getting me fully into Italian horror. Suspiria was actually what did it for me. When I saw Suspiria, I think by that point I liked it because it was so different from anything else I'd ever seen. When I finally saw Suspiria, that really introduced me to Italian horror and what that means, and it made me go back and rewatch a lot of those other films. So go back and rewatch Zombie and Gates of Hell and Demons and all those with just a new eye and a new appreciation. So Suspiria really was the one that really kind of changed it all for me. But my introduction, again, the first Gates of Hell was probably the first VHS box that sort of got me into it. Zombie was, I believe, the first film I ever saw that, then got me into it. And then Suspiria just completely, took me over. So yeah, quite an interesting journey, that's for sure. Next one is from Carl Borman, and he asks, besides everything cinema, any other passions, and also any tattoos, and if not, would you ever get a tattoo? So I'll get the tattoo one in a moment because someone else asked about tattoos as well, so I'm going to actually combine those. But as far as other interests go, I mean, honestly, I wish I could say it was kind of cooler than that, but actually everything in my life literally revolves around movies in some ways. Like all of my interests even just stem from movies. They always have, I swear, like my whole life. Now, I mean, under that, there's obviously different aspects. There's obviously, watching movies, there's the interest in making movies, and the technology that goes into making films, as well as even like photography. My interest in photography still stems from movies, and because like my personal photography still stems from not so much what makes up a good photography picture, but almost like a more like a cinematic picture. That's how I see it. So even then, it's still kind of related. But even all my interests, even like some of the stuff I collect, obviously it's all kind of cinema related. The books I read, most of them are movie books. Like I'm not into sports or anything like that. It's like, God, do I have anything that is like not even like video games? I guess would probably be like maybe the closest thing. Although I'm not as much of a gamer as I used to be, but I do still play games. Again, even like the music I'm into, I do have interest in a lot of different kinds of music. But again, my favorite are soundtracks to movies. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, stop and think about it. It's like literally everything about me in some way goes back to movies. So yeah. As far as the tattoos go, I actually want to get to Brandon loves the movies. Brandon is a great guy. He and I talk on occasion, and he asks, okay, I'll list some off. Will you ever get any genre-related tattoos? Now, he asked a couple questions, which I'll get to in a moment, but just he and Carl, I both asked about tattoos, so I just want to cover that real quick. So one, I don't have any tattoos at the moment. I don't know if I ever will or not. I keep going back and forth. If I do, it probably would be something horror related. I think my thing that keeps, because like I almost got one like 10 years ago and I didn't. And I'm kind of glad I didn't because I think the one I got at the time, I don't know if I'd look at it today and be like, well, I'm kind of happy that's on my body for the rest of my life. But at the same time, like, I really would like to get one or at least, maybe a couple, not massive amounts. Oh, they say that. And then you get, I know sometimes, I think the saying is if once you get your first, then it's like, you just can't stop. I don't know. I really don't know. And I think because I think the problem for me would be like, well, if I get one, what would that entail? Like what would I get that I really would want to be on my body? Like, could I get maybe like a little collage of things? Like that's probably what I would do. Maybe try and think of like a little collage of stuff that would sort of represent my love of like horror films and stuff. But yeah, no plans in the immediate future anyway. But ask me in like 5 years. So who knows, in these years, like all of a sudden I'd be like, yeah, but look at this, And getting back to Brandon's questions, the other stuff he asked was, what figures are you eyeing, such as Creepshow and Dawn of the Dead for me? Plus, will you get any more posters, or are you pretty much semi-retired now? So as far as figures go, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to limit how many, I mean, sometimes I'll go into Target and there'll be some NECA figures there and I'll be like, that really looks cool. I'm trying to limit that as best I can, but obviously the Creepshow ones that they have in the works for next year, I will definitely be grabbing pretty much probably everyone they put out, most likely. Actually, the first one is actually due out in the fall, but I know that they're doing more that I believe are coming next year. And yeah, I still want to get their Kessler Wolf, American Werewolf in London wolf figure. As far as NECA goes, there's statues, I'm trying to be careful because I just don't have any more room. But that company that makes those classic classic actor statues. Some of you may remember I got that Abbott and Costello one. Actually did get one more in, which I do have an unboxing, but that was one I had to also re-record part of it because my audio fell out. So that one actually should be up soon. That same company literally just put up for pre-order one for Vincent Price, and I was like, oh, you can't do this to me. So I had to pre-order the Vincent Price. It's not due out for another year, but obviously I can't say no to a Vincent Price statue, for crying out loud. And again, if they ever do a Buster Keaton one, I would love that. But overall, like a lot of stuff, I need to just be very, very careful just because it's like I still have stuff in boxes that I'm not displaying because I don't have anywhere to display it. And I don't want to keep adding, just buying stuff just to buy it and then it just sits in boxes. Like that just doesn't seem right. But the NECA stuff, luckily it's small enough, which, can kind of gotta go after. And obviously anything Dawn of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Creepshow, there's a couple movies that obviously anything that comes out of those, like I will grab for sure. As far as movie posters go, yeah, I'm not really getting posters anymore. I have way too many, and like in fact I need to, as I mentioned before, I need to organize and probably sell off probably about a third of them at least. Now, it's not saying I'm not going to buy anymore. In fact, there's a good chance this summer, one of the guys I used to buy movie posters from all the time, I will see him this summer, and there's a good chance I will most likely buy one or two if he has something really good. So it's like, I don't think that ever goes away. So I can't say I'm never going to buy posters anymore. But by and large, I'm not seeking out stuff like I used to. Batman Darth Maul, last, I love that. How in the world do you have room for all the physical media and memorabilia you buy? The answer is I don't. That's part of my problem. As I was just saying that I don't have the room some of the stuff I'm making room. I bought more shelves specifically for this room to put a lot more movies on. Some older movies that either I bought, only watched once, and I don't need them anymore, or ones that have been re-released and I don't need the older copy of. I will be getting rid of to clear up some space. As far as the memorabilia goes, yeah, I have stuff just in boxes that I bought over the because what's the saying? Is it FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. I'm trying to do better with that because I used to have it big time. I think I'm a little bit better now, but I still need to be better at it, especially if it's something like you don't really see that often, and you see it and it's like, well, I have in my head like what it could look like displayed properly, but I don't have I can't say, well, but this display then will go here. It's like I don't have the space for it, so it's like I can't make these decisions to just buy stuff and then have it sit for one day. Maybe I'll be able to display it. Like I need to stop doing that. And for the most part I have, but a couple things, I have bought stuff even recently where I'm like, I think I know what I'm gonna do with it, but then again it's still sitting in a box. It's like, what the hell. So yeah, I'm trying to be very, very careful because I don't have the space. And honestly, do any of us really ever have the space that we want for our stuff? Because like this room specifically is like the rest of my place, like I don't like it to be busy. This room, I don't mind if it is a little busy. It's because I can get kind of a little bit overwhelmed if stuff is like too kind of almost chaotic in a way. But this room actually doesn't affect me in that way. I mean, it does at the moment just because things are a mess because I'm organizing, but overall, yeah, this room actually has a calming effect on me. So yeah, so this room will always be a little bit busy, but I'm okay with that. And then one final question for this video, but again, don't worry, I will be getting to the rest and other videos. Again, I just want to do them properly. And this is from Tim Hayes. Tim's a great guy. He's been around like since the beginning. He was like one of the first guys to actually comment on like my videos from way back when. Tim's been around for a long time, and he has his own channel. So I will link to his channel. I'll pin in a comment below. So go check out Tim's channel. And he says, yes, I'd love to see you do a live stream. Have you considered starting a Patreon? So as far as the live streams go, I definitely want to do live streams. I know I've been talking about for a while. I'm actually going to use a different program than I've used in the past. A lot of people now use StreamYard. Used to use OBS, but I really like what StreamYard offers, but I just need to learn it a little bit more before I'm sort of comfortable doing. I'll do like a test stream with it. I'll do one that I don't post. It's just for myself to test some of the settings and stuff, and then I'll do maybe like a 25-minute live stream. Like I'll get some news articles together, maybe like some rumors of some upcoming releases or something that we could just talk about real quick for like a 25-minute live stream or something, and just kind of get the hang of it. And then I want to bring on like other people and do interviews and all kinds of stuff going forward. But yeah, I definitely want to do live streams more often because I listen to I watch and listen to live streams like all the time, so I love them. So I would definitely would love to try and do them. I think the only thing that freaks me out about live streams is that, in these videos, the edits do save me a lot of times because like my mind kind of goes all over the place. That's the nice thing about editing. It was a live stream. It's just like, well, it's just stream of consciousness. So I don't know. You guys may be watching those live streams and be like, oh, so that's where the vague rambling title comes into play. It's like, yeah. And as far as the Patreon goes, I have, I set up a Patreon account like years ago, but I've never used it. But actually what I do want to do is do the YouTube membership option because like I'm signed up at a couple other channels that I love, that I love supporting. Some of them do stuff with their memberships and some of them don't. Some of them, again, I'm just happy I can support their channel because I watch their stuff all the time. Other ones, they offer stuff. And I know for me, like I really want to offer things. I want to be able to make sure I can do videos that are only intended for members. And some of them may be like a pre-version of a pickups video. Like, as soon as I get certain things in, especially some like unique things, like I can sort of do the initial unboxing and then talk about it in more detail in the pickups video that'll be for everyone. And another thing that I thought of too is the fact that like I get digital codes all the time. Like I buy movies and digital codes that I don't use, either because it's for a streaming service that either I don't use or it's a movie I already have digitally, and it's just like I have all these codes for movies and it's like I might as well put them to use. So I was like, I'll just give them out to members. I'll figure out a best way to maybe list, each month I'll have so many, and people can throw in their name for the ones they want. And if there's multiple ones, I'll do a drawing or something so you get the code and everything. So yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of doing that. Let me know if you guys think that would be something some of you may be interested in. I'll try, I'm not going to have it be that expensive. I'll try to come up with like a fair amount and stuff, and I want to make sure that when I do that is a lot that you would get for it, because I'm not going to ask people to pay for something and then not give them something in return. I don't like that. So definitely let me know what you guys think about that, and if any of you also do memberships, other channels, and what you like and don't like. So that's it for this Q&A video. Thank you all for the questions. Again, so many more I'm going to get to. I just want to be able to, some of the ones that get into more specifics, I want to be able to showcase stuff and talk about it more. So keep an eye out for those. Again, probably 2 more, maybe 3 if I tend to ramble on a little bit much. Make sure that they're not too long, which I know can be a bit of a problem for me. So again, thank you all for the questions, and I will see you on the next one.